The Jokes on Hugh by Jansen Davies. Chapter 1. Hugh's Empty Seats. The spotlight buzzed like a dying moth. Hugh Medcalf squinted into the glare, his dummy perched stiffly on his knee. The bar smelled of stale beer and fried onions, and the audience consisted of 3 patrons who looked as if they'd wandered in by accident. "Ladies and gentlemen," Hugh announced with theatrical bravado, "prepare yourselves for the comedy stylings of Hugh Medcalf and his wooden accomplice in comedy, Mr. Jangles." Mr. Jangles' painted grin gleamed under the light. Hugh threw his voice, but the dummy's jaw clacked a beat too late. "Why did the chicken cross the desert?" Hugh asked. Mr. Jangles replied, "Because it was tired of your jokes." The 3 patrons stared. One coughed, another checked his phone. Hugh forced a laugh, sweat prickling under his collar. He tried again. "I once dated a magician's assistant. She disappeared on me." Mr. Jangles: "Smart girl." Hugh gave them his best joke. "Why do only crazy people drink here?" Mr. Jangles: "Because they have a 2-shrink minimum." Silence. Hugh bowed anyway, muttering his eternal mantra. Tough crowd. After the show, the bartender handed him a crumpled $5 bill and a pitying look. Hugh stuffed the bill into his pocket, scooped up Mr. Jangles, and trudged out to his beat-up sedan. The desert night swallowed him whole. Neon signs flickered in the distance, promising jackpots and glamour he'd never touch. Hugh drove on, muttering to the dummy. "You're the reason they don't laugh," he said. "Your timing's off. Your face is wrong. You're sabotaging me." Mr. Jangles, silent now, stared with painted indifference. Hugh gripped the wheel tighter. He had been a ventriloquist his entire adult life, and failure clung to him like desert dust. But he refused to quit. Somewhere out there, he believed, was the perfect partner, the one who could deliver his jokes with style, with magic. The headlights carved a path through the sand. Hugh rehearsed punchlines aloud, his voice bouncing between optimism and despair. Then the sky tore open. A streak of fire blazed across the horizon, shrieking like metal against metal. Hugh slammed the brakes, heart hammering. Ahead, the desert floor erupted in a plume of smoke and green light. He blinked, jaw slack. Well, that's new. The dummy sat beside him, grinning as always. Hugh whispered, "Don't look at me like that." Even you saw it. The desert was no longer empty. Something had arrived. Chapter 2. Desert Fire. The desert night was a stage without an audience, a vast silence broken only by the hum of Hugh's battered sedan. He had been muttering punchlines to himself, arguing with Mr. Jangles, the dummy propped stiffly in the passenger seat, when the sky ripped open. A streak of fire tore across the heavens, shrieking like a banshee. Hugh slammed the brakes, tires skidding on sand. Ahead, the desert floor convulsed, a plume of smoke rising from a fresh crater. The glow was unnatural, green and pulsing, as if the earth itself had swallowed a neon sign. Hugh sat frozen, knuckles white on the steering wheel. "Well," he whispered, "that's one way to upstage me." Mr. Jangles grinned his painted grin, offering no rebuttal. Curiosity, or desperation, pulled Hugh forward. He stumbled toward the crater, shoes crunching glassy fragments of rock. The wreckage looked like a collapsed carnival ride, twisted metal and sparking wires. From the debris crawled a figure no taller than a child, skin green, eyes enormous, limbs trembling. Hugh's breath caught. You're not from Barstow, are you?" The alien blinked, then collapsed at his feet. Hugh knelt, torn between terror and opportunity. He had spent his life chasing audiences that didn't laugh. Now the universe had literally dropped one into his lap. Okay, Hugh muttered, scooping the creature into his arms. "You're coming with me." Vegas has seen stranger acts. He carried the alien to the car, laying it across the back seat. Mr. Jangles stared from the passenger side, grin unchanged. Hugh glanced at the dummy. "Don't look at me like that." "You've been replaced." The sedan rattled back onto the highway. Hugh's heart pounded, adrenaline mixing with absurd excitement. He imagined headlines. Ventriloquist saves alien, becomes star. The alien stirred, voice faint and halting. "Help, repair ship." Hugh forced a smile, eyes fixed on the road. "Sure, sure. After my show. Priorities, right?" The alien tilted its head, confusion flickering across its wide eyes. Hugh laughed nervously. "You'll see. Vegas is where dreams come true, or at least where they die with buffets." The desert stretched endless, but Hugh felt alive for the first time in years. He had no idea that this strange passenger would change everything: his act, his ambition, his fate. And somewhere deep inside, the alien already knew. This human's jokes, so pitiful on Earth, might one day echo across stars. Chapter 3. First Act. The casino smelled of cigarette smoke and desperation. Hugh had begged the manager for one more chance. "I've got a new dummy," he promised. "Something fresh, something audiences have never seen before." The manager squinted at him. "Fine. 10 minutes. If they boo, you're out." Backstage, Hugh adjusted his tie, palms slick with sweat. Mr. Jangles was gone, stolen in Vegas's back alleys, and in his place sat the alien, perched stiffly on a stool. Its green skin gleamed under the fluorescent lights, eyes blinking too slowly. "Remember," Hugh whispered, "you're the dummy. I talk, you answer. Timing is everything." The alien tilted its head. "Define, dummy." Hugh groaned. "Just follow my lead." The curtain rose. A handful of gamblers slumped in their seats, drinks in hand. Hugh stepped forward, forcing bravado. "Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for the comedy stylings of Hugh Medcalf and his, exotic new partner." He lobbed the first joke. "Why did the chicken cross the desert?" The alien blinked, then replied in a flat monotone. "To escape the hungry apex predator, human beings." The crowd erupted. Laughter rolled across the room, sharp and unexpected. Hugh froze, then grinned. He tried another. "I once dated a magician's assistant. She disappeared on me." The alien answered, "Probability suggests she chose invisibility rather be seen with you." More laughter. Hugh's heart raced. They weren't laughing at him. They were laughing with him, or at least at the alien's bizarre misunderstandings. The act spiraled into chaos. Hugh asked about Las Vegas buffets. The alien described them as nutritional troughs for herd mammals. Hugh joked about slot machines. The alien explained, "Humans worship probability gods with flashing lights." Every misstep, every literal answer, every alien observation was comedy gold. The audience howled, slapping tables, spilling drinks. For the first time in his career, Hugh felt the rush of real applause. His jokes, terrible, recycled, desperate, were transformed by the alien's strange delivery. Backstage afterward, Hugh collapsed into a chair, grinning ear to ear. "You were amazing," he said. "You're my ticket out of obscurity." The alien's eyes glowed faintly. "I do not understand. Was this ritual?" Hugh laughed. "It's called show business, pal, and you just made me a star." But as the alien tilted its head, silent and unreadable, Hugh felt a flicker of unease. He had found success, but only because of something he didn't understand, something not of this world. Chapter 4. Rising Applause. Las Vegas had never cared about Hugh Medcalf before. He was just another act lost in the neon shuffle, a ventriloquist with bad timing and worse luck. But now, with the alien at his side, the tide was turning. Word spread quickly. The casino manager, who had once threatened to throw him out, now booked him for longer sets. Audiences doubled, then tripled. Hugh's name appeared on flyers, his face plastered on posters beside magicians and lounge singers. On stage, the alien was a revelation. Its literal answers, strange metaphors, and accidental insults had gamblers howling with laughter. Hugh fed its setups like a man tossing meat to a lion. "Why don't aliens visit Earth?" Hugh asked one night. The alien replied, deadpan, "Because your atmosphere smells like fried onions and humans." The crowd roared. Hugh bowed, basking in applause that felt like sunlight after years of darkness. Backstage, Hugh was giddy. "We're unstoppable. Do you hear that? They love us." He paced, waving his arms. "I knew I had the jokes. I just needed the right partner." The alien sat quietly, blinking. "I must return. My ship, broken. My people, waiting." Hugh froze, smile faltering. "Return? No, no, no. You don't understand. This is it. This is our moment. You can't leave now." The alien tilted its head. "Your laughter, ritual, temporary. My home, permanent." Hugh forced a laugh, though it sounded brittle. "Home? You're looking at it. Vegas is home now, and trust me, you're going to love it here." But the alien's silence was heavy. Its enormous eyes seemed to see through Hugh's bravado, past the neon lights, into the hollow core of his ambition. That night, Hugh lay awake in his motel bed, staring at the ceiling. The applause still echoed in his ears, but so did the alien's words. "My people, waiting." He turned over, muttering to himself, "It doesn't matter. He'll see. Once we're famous, he won't want to leave." Nobody walks away from success. Outside, the desert wind rattled the motel windows. The alien sat by the door, gazing at the stars, whispering in a language Hugh couldn't understand. Chapter 5. The contract. Vegas had a way of swallowing nobodies and spitting out stars. Hugh Medcalf, once a punchline himself, now found his name glowing on casino marquees. Crowds packed the smoky lounges, eager to see the ventriloquist with the alien dummy. The act had become legend. Hugh would lob a setup, and the alien, deadpan, literal, and bizarre, would twist it into comedy gold. "Why do humans gamble?" Hugh asked one night. The alien replied, "To simulate poverty in controlled environments." The audience howled, drinks sloshing, laughter echoing like thunder. Hugh bowed, basking in applause that felt like oxygen. Backstage, a slick man in a tailored suit approached. "Mr. Medcalf," he said, flashing a smile too white to be real. "I'm with Horizon Talent. You're the hottest act in town. Let's make this official." He slid a contract across the table. Hugh barely skimmed it before signing. Fame was finally his, and he wasn't about to let paperwork slow him down. The alien watched silently, eyes narrowing. "Contract means trap?" it asked. Hugh waved it off. "It's opportunity. Don't worry, this is how humans do success." But the alien's gaze lingered on the paper, as if it could see the chains hidden in the ink. That night, Hugh celebrated with champagne in a motel room that smelled faintly of mildew. He laughed, rehearsed new jokes, dreamed of movie deals and billboards. The alien sat by the window, staring at the stars. "My ship, broken. My people, waiting." Hugh poured another glass. "We'll fix it later. First, another show, another contract, another crowd." The alien turned its head slowly, voice low. You are building a prison. For me. And for yourself. Hugh laughed too loudly, drowning out the words, but deep inside, a sliver of unease lodged itself in his chest. Chapter 6. The Replica Returns. Hugh couldn't sleep. The applause still rang in his ears, but so did the alien's plea. My people, waiting. He lay awake in the motel bed, staring at the ceiling, imagining headlines, imagining billboards, imagining himself finally respected. But the thought of losing the alien gnawed at him. Fame was fragile, and Hugh had tasted it too late in life to let it slip away. So he tried again. He bought better wood, finer paint, sharper tools. He carved with manic precision, fingers blistered and bleeding. He sanded until his hands shook, painted until his eyes burned. The replica took shape, green skin, wide eyes, crooked grin. It looked eerily close to the real thing. See, Hugh muttered, voice hoarse. This time it'll work. This time they'll laugh. The alien watched from the bed, silent. On stage, Hugh unveiled the replica. He threw his voice, delivered punchlines, forced timing. Why did the chicken cross the desert? He asked. The dummy's jaw clacked. Silence. He tried again. Humans worship slot machines because... The dummy stared, mute. The audience shifted, restless. Someone shouted, "Where's the green guy?" Hugh's face burned. He pushed harder, voice cracking, sweat dripping. But the replica was lifeless, hollow, incapable of the strange spark that made the alien's answers comedy gold. The crowd booed. Drinks clattered. Hugh's dream crumbled in real time. Backstage, he smashed the replica against the wall, splinters flying. "It's you!" he screamed at the alien. "Only you! Without you, I'm nothing." The alien's eyes glowed faintly, voice calm but cutting. "Then you are already nothing." Hugh staggered, chest heaving, hands trembling. He had built a prison out of ambition, and the bars were closing in. Chapter 7. The Cage. The Horizon. Talent contract was already paying dividends. Hugh's face appeared on billboards along the strip, his act booked in bigger venues with brighter lights. He strutted through casinos like a man reborn, basking in recognition he had craved for decades. But success came with strings. The agent demanded exclusivity, tighter schedules, more shows. "Keep the alien fresh," he said. "Don't let it wander. Don't let anyone else get a piece of it." Hugh nodded, eager to please. He returned to the motel and locked the alien in the room between gigs. "For your safety," he lied, sliding the bolt shut. "Vegas can be dangerous." The alien sat quietly, eyes reflecting the neon glow through the window. "This is a cage," it said. Hugh forced a laugh. "Cage? No, it's a dressing room. Stars have dressing rooms." But the alien's silence was heavy, its gaze unblinking. On stage, Hugh delivered his setups with manic energy. The alien responded, but its tone had shifted. The jokes were darker now, sharper, cutting closer to truth. "Why do humans gamble?" Hugh asked. The alien replied, "Because they cannot accept the emptiness of their lives." The audience roared, half in laughter, half in discomfort. Hugh grinned, but his stomach twisted. Backstage, the agent clapped him on the shoulder. "That's gold. Lean into it. People love pain when it's funny." Hugh nodded, though the words made him shiver. Later that night, he returned to the motel, unlocking the door. The alien sat exactly where he had left it, staring at the stars. Chapter 8. The Dock Show. The theater was packed, the air thick with cigarette smoke and anticipation. Hugh strutted onto the stage, his grin wide, his heart pounding with the thrill of recognition. The alien sat beside him, blinking slowly, its green skin luminous under the spotlight. "Ladies and gentlemen," Hugh announced, "prepare yourselves for laughter beyond this world." The crowd cheered. Hugh lobbed his first setup, eager to bask in applause. Why did the gambler bring a ladder to the casino? The alien's voice was calm, deliberate. Because humans believe they can climb out of despair. The laughter came, but it was uneasy, half chuckles, half nervous murmurs. Hugh forced a smile. He tried again. "What happens when you lose at blackjack?" The alien replied, "You remember that life itself is a losing game." The audience roared louder this time, but the sound was jagged, uncomfortable. Some laughed hysterically, others shifted in their seats, unsure if they were hearing comedy or prophecy. Hugh's pulse quickened. He was losing control. The alien wasn't just not funny anymore, it was unsettling, dangerous. Backstage, Hugh confronted it. "What are you doing?" "Stick to the jokes, the funny misunderstandings. That's what they want." The alien's eyes glowed faintly. "Humans laugh at pain. They worship despair. I give them truth." Hugh shook his head, panic rising. "No, no, no. You're supposed to make them laugh, not scare them." The alien tilted its head. "They laugh because they are scared." That night, Hugh lay awake, the sound of nervous laughter echoing in his skull. He had wanted fame, applause, validation. Now he had it. But it was built on something he couldn't control, something that was slipping further from his grasp. And deep down, he feared the alien wasn't just joking anymore. Chapter 9. The Agent's Plan. The applause was thunderous, but Hugh felt hollow. Each laugh seemed sharper, edged with unease. The alien's jokes had shifted, less misunderstanding, more revelation. The audience laughed, yes, but it was the kind of laughter that left people unsettled, glancing at each other as if they weren't sure whether to clap or pray. Backstage, Hugh wiped sweat from his brow. His agent, slick as ever, clapped him on the shoulder. "That was brilliant. Dark. Cutting. People love pain when it's funny. We'll franchise this. Movies, merchandise, late-night specials. That thing is ours." Hugh froze. Ours. The word echoed like a chain snapping shut. The alien sat in the corner, silent, its eyes glowing faintly. Hugh looked at it, guilt gnawing at him. "He doesn't mean that," Hugh whispered. "You're not property. You're my partner." The alien tilted its head. "Partner? You lock me in a cage. You force me to speak. You sell my words." Hugh's throat tightened. I'm trying to survive." "I've waited my whole life for this." The agent interrupted, waving a contract. "We'll expand. Bigger venues, national tour. But we need control. Keep the alien on a leash. Don't let it wander. Don't let it think it has a choice." Hugh stared at the paper, his hands trembling. He had dreamed of fame, of validation, of finally being seen. But now success tasted like ash. The alien rose slowly, its voice low and deliberate. "You are not my master. You are also a prisoner. You cannot see the bars, but they are there." Hugh turned away, forcing a laugh. "Don't be dramatic. This is show business. Everyone's a prisoner." But as he signed another contract, his hand shaking, Hugh knew the alien was right. He wasn't just exploiting it. He was binding himself tighter with every signature. Chapter 10. The Dream. Hugh staggered back to his motel after another sold-out show, applause still ringing in his ears. He should have been elated. He had finally tasted success, but instead he felt hollow, jittery, as if the laughter had carved something out of him instead of filling him. He collapsed onto the bed, staring at the ceiling fan as it spun lazily. Sleep came quickly, but it was not kind. In his dream, the desert stretched endlessly, a black stage beneath a burning sky. Hugh stood alone, spotlight blazing, microphone in hand. He told jokes, his old routines, the ones that had always failed. But this time the audience laughed, thousands of voices roaring, clapping, chanting his name. Hugh basked in it, tears streaming down his face. Then he saw the source of the laughter. Not humans, but green figures, rows upon rows of aliens, their enormous eyes glowing. They laughed not because the jokes were good, but because they were true in ways Hugh couldn't understand. The laughter grew louder, deafening, until the sky itself cracked. Fire poured down, green flames consuming the stage. Hugh screamed, clutching the microphone, but the aliens kept laughing, their voices echoing like thunder. He woke drenched in sweat, heart pounding. The motel room was silent except for the hum of neon outside. The aliens sat by the window, staring at the stars. Hugh whispered, "I dreamed. They loved me. All of them. Not humans. Your people." The alien turned slowly, its voice calm. "Dreams are not lies. They are warnings." Hugh swallowed hard, throat dry. "What does that mean?" The alien blinked. "It means you are not ready for the truth." Hugh lay back down, trembling. He had wanted fame, applause, validation. Now he feared he was chasing something far larger, something that might consume him whole. Chapter 11. Escape Attempt. The motel room was silent except for the hum of the neon sign outside, flickering red across the peeling wallpaper. Hugh had passed out in his chair, an empty bottle of cheap champagne dangling from his hand. The alien moved quietly, its small frame slipping from the bed to the door. It had studied the lock for days, watching Hugh's hands, memorizing the click of the bolt. Tonight, while Hugh snored, it tried. The lock gave way with a soft snap. The alien stepped into the desert night, the air cool and vast, stars scattered like a map of home. It whispered in its own tongue, a prayer to the void, and began walking toward the horizon where its broken ship still lay buried in sand. But Hugh stirred. He woke to the sound of the door creaking, the empty space where the alien should have been. Panic surged through him. He stumbled outside, barefoot, chasing the small green figure across the gravel. "Wait!" he shouted, voice cracking. "You can't leave me!" The alien turned, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "You are a prison." Hugh's chest heaved. "No, no, you don't understand. We're a team. They love us. I need you." The alien's voice was calm, almost sorrowful. "You need laughter, not me." Hugh lunged, grabbing its arm. The alien didn't resist, but its gaze was steady, unblinking. "You chain yourself," it said softly. "Not me." Hugh dragged it back toward the motel, muttering, "I can't let you go. Not now, not when I'm finally somebody." The alien said nothing more, but as Hugh locked the door again, he felt the weight of its silence pressing down on him. That night, Hugh sat awake, staring at the alien in the corner. He had caught it once, but he knew it would try again, and each time it would get closer to slipping away. Chapter 12. The Abduction. The desert was quiet again, the neon of Vegas, a faint glow on the horizon. Hugh stumbled out of the casino after another show, his nerves frayed. The alien had grown silent on stage, its jokes sharper, darker, almost accusatory. The audience still laughed, but Hugh felt the laughter cutting into him like knives. He wandered into the night, clutching his tie, muttering to himself, "I can't lose this. I can't lose him. Without him, I'm nothing." The sky answered. A beam of green light split the darkness, enveloping Hugh in a sudden searing glow. He screamed, flailing, but his feet left the ground. The desert fell away beneath him as he was pulled upward, weightless, helpless. The last thing he saw before the light swallowed him was the alien, standing calmly in the sand, watching. Chapter 13. The Alien World. Hugh awoke on a stage. Not a casino, not a bar, but something vast and otherworldly. Rows upon rows of green figures filled an amphitheater carved from crystal, their enormous eyes glowing in the dark. He clutched his chest, gasping. Where am I? The alien's voice echoed in his mind. Home. Hugh looked down. On his knee sat a dummy. Not Mr. Jangles, not the wooden replica, but a new figure carved from alien crystal, its grin wide and strange. A microphone descended from above. The crowd waited, silent. Hugh's throat went dry. He tried a joke, one of his oldest, one that had always failed. Why did the chicken cross the desert? The dummy's jaw clacked. Silence. Then the amphitheater erupted. The aliens howled with laughter, their voices like thunder, their eyes flashing with delight. Hugh blinked, stunned. He tried another. I once dated a magician's assistant. She disappeared on me. The aliens shrieked with joy, pounding their hands against the crystal seats. Hugh's heart raced. They loved him. They loved him. For the first time in his life, Hugh Medcalf was a star. Chapter 14. The Cosmic Punchline. Night after night, Hugh performed for alien crowds. His bad jokes, his tired routines, his awkward timing, all of it was comedy gold here. The aliens adored him, not because he was clever, but because his fumbling humanity was exotic, absurd, and true in ways they understood instinctively. The alien who had once been his partner watched from the wings, silent. Hugh bowed, basking in applause that shook the amphitheater. He had lost Earth, lost Vegas, lost everything he thought he wanted. But here, on a world of green fire and crystal stages, Hugh Medcalf had finally found success. And as the laughter rolled over him, he realized the cruelest, funniest truth of all. He had always been funny. He had just been telling his jokes to the wrong planet. Epilogue, the last laugh. The amphitheater shimmered under alien skies, a dome of refracting starlight into emerald fire. Hugh Medcalf stood center stage, microphone in hand, his crystal dummy perched on his knee. "Why did the chicken cross the desert?" he asked, voice trembling with old nerves. The dummy's jaw clacked. Silence. Then the crowd erupted, thousands of aliens howling with laughter, their voices echoing across the cosmos. Hugh bowed, tears in his eyes. For the first time in his life, he wasn't bombing. He wasn't failing. He was adored. Backstage, the alien who had once been his partner watched quietly. It had brought him here, not out of cruelty, but mercy. Hugh had chased applause his whole life, and now he had it. On a planet where his fumbling humanity was comedy gold. Hugh looked up at the stars, the laughter still rolling over him. He whispered to himself, "Guess I just needed a bigger audience." The curtain fell, and somewhere, across galaxies, Hugh Medcalf, the failed ventriloquist of Earth, was remembered as the greatest comic in the universe. The end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.